What's going on? This is Haas Diesel from the Party Nerds, and we're back for another episode of Agents of Nerdz. We're about to get real deep into this Avengers Endgame, man. Like it was insane, it was crazy, and I got a few friends of mine to come co-host with me tonight. I'm gonna start to the far left. Got Nikki. What's going on, Nikki?
Hi, Haas. How are you?
All right. Tell the fans where you come from, what you about.
I'm Nikki G. I'm on Instagram as Nikki G Cosplay. I'm a cosplayer. Listen, I'm here to be as shocked as you guys are with how deep we go into this. So I'm ready to learn and absorb because we've got the true nerds here to talk about it.
Facts. And then we have Babs. Babs, what's going on? What you got? What's going on?
I'm Babs Butcher. You can find me on pretty much any social media, Babs Butcher. Nikki's not giving herself enough credit. She's got opinions. She's passionate. She's sitting here being like, right. I don't know anything, but she's gonna come and be like, listen, you mother.
Yeah, she's probably the start of the show, and y'all ain't even know. Y'all have no idea.
They're not ready.
But Babs. You can catch Babs' episodes of the Babs Butcher Block every Monday on the Party Nerds YouTube.
Yep.
So
we just debuted our episode, Cosplayer Double Lives, talking about how much we hide of our cosplay lives.
Yes. So catch that on the Party Nerds YouTube. And we got a new Agent of Nerd. We got our new homie, Tricky Ricky. What's going on?
It's your boy. You find me everywhere. Tricky the Great. Instagram, YouTube. You already know. I've been one of the biggest geeks, and I'm surprised it took him so long to give me that phone call. But we here. We gonna make it live.
Look at his shirt right now.
Look at my shirt.
Look at awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, we got Haas right here. We got Haas. Hi,
Haas.
How are you?
Baby. How y'all doing? Y'all know me and all that good stuff. Welcome back. So, now that we're assembled.
Avengers! Assemble.
So,
assemble.
He said it.
Avengers
He
assemble.
said it.
We are assembled. So, what do we think of this movie? Like, what do we think about this epic, already $2 billion movie?
Man.
So what do we think? Who's taking? It's up for grabs. Who's
Ladies
going?
first.
Well,
Hashtag goosebumps.
Yes, 100%.
Well, I mean, I think our culture is constantly. Do you find you have a lot of friends that as soon as they see a movie that's been so hyped up, they come back and they go, it was trash.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It was trash.
Everyone that doesn't know Marvel, that doesn't know the MCU, I saw their Instagram statuses, and you know who the are.
Yeah, we know who you are.
You're telling me that this
see
movie's
people-
trash, but you don't know what the you're talking about.
People who are super into the MCU are also saying it because they're these elitist nerds that are like,
I hate
if I'm a contrarian, then people will think I'm smart.
Facts.
Honestly,
Facts.
if you're looking into that so deep, I mean, you've talked about this before, Haas. If you're nitpicking that deep, you're just trying.
Yeah, you're just being negative on purpose.
Yeah.
100%.
And you're not actually sitting there and in the moment enjoying the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're just it's those type of people like actually go to the movie theater. They be like, all right, what can I find something wrong so I can bash this movie because everybody loves it and I'm just miserable. Like some people just like to see the world burn,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
So
hey, we're talking Marvel, not DC.
Yeah. Facts. And because they see a whole bunch of people, like basically the whole world is rejoicing over how great. Not just this movie, but the whole Infinity Saga, the whole MCU, like everything put together. Because this movie wouldn't be as great as it was if it didn't start 2008 with Iron Man, and then the build up of introducing new characters and different plot lines and different stories. And it's just like the MCU is just like it's like on a level on its own right now. Like even like Star Wars, like how big Star Wars was. Like Star Wars is not even on that level right now. It's like the MCU is like the biggest franchise on the planet.
But that being said, this isn't a predictable type of show where we just sit there and talk about how everything is wonderful and everything's great. We will get into the things that we don't like.
Yeah,
so
100%.
we are going to nitpick,
We
but
will.
we're gonna agree
With
on
love.
the fact that it was an amazing fucking movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna nitpick, but not the way
Because
you
we all
dickheads are
have
doing.
some things about this movie that like
It hurt.
it
hurt.
Some things hurt, some things were great.
Some really hurt.
So we're
Spoiler alert if you need it.
So before we even get into everything, we all agree we love this movie, right?
Hell yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
now
Hell
let's
yeah.
let's get
Absolutely.
into some things, right? So
Okay, top 3 things in the movie.
top 3
I
things.
have
All
a
right,
list. Let me get a.
I'm gonna
Like
start.
the things that you walk away and you remember for years.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, so number 3, let's go with this. You know what? Fat Thor, yo.
Big love
Fat
it.
Thor.
That's what
Oh,
I love
best
it. I love
because
Thick Thor.
I didn't expect that. They hit it so well,
Yeah, they
right?
did.
And then you come in, and the best thing about it, it's not just obese Thor, right? It's him coming in, and hanging out with Korg and Meek.
You know
and
what?
Meek's sitting there
Hell
eating
yeah.
pizza,
But
and
I'm happy to
Korg,
see that.
and then Korg's playing Fortnite, and Korg's having a problem with Nuke Master 69, and he's calling him a
Fly over to your house.
yeah, like so that's number 3 to me. That's number
Yeah.
3. Number 2, I want to say it was Captain America yielding Mjolnir, right?
Mm-hmm,
Like
Yes.
it was just a crazy moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I'm about to cheat because I need a 1A and a 1B. 1A is the Scarlet Witch when she took on
Yes.
Thanos.
Finally.
That was the probably.
Yeah. Yes.
It was probably like the dopest thing I've seen in the movie. Like she basically tore him apart, and he had to call for backup. He was like, "Oh, go shoot this, shoot him down." And you know, she really took him on. Like made me feel like she's probably the baddest person in the universe. That's just personally me. But my number 1 is definitely how everybody assembled when they started coming from the portals and everything. Like
Goosebumps.
yeah,
to the
like
max.
I'm getting it right now.
I
Like,
was
I'm
sobbing.
right? I'm getting it right now. So those are mine. I cheated. I got 4, but you know that's what
Totally
it is.
fine.
How about you, Rick?
So, number 1, Cap. Well, number 3, I should say. Cap picking up Mjolnir. That was epic. That was when you see the hammer lift up, and then
sick.
it just went back, and they showed Cap sitting there waiting for it. It was
sick.
like, and then the quote to follow Thor. I knew it. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
he just
I knew
signified
it.
it. Was like yes.
I knew it.
Second,
Mhm.
I loved when they was on the ship playing table football.
That is great.
I loved it.
That is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So it showed that side of Nebula that was like
Nebula grew in this movie.
nonsense,
Oh my gosh, she
Oh,
did
yeah.
movie. Yes.
you know. And then the third,
Or the first.
or the first, when Captain Marvel busted in the opening scene and just lit Thanos up,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that was like the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
You know, like and
It was
how
shocking.
they,
It was shocking
oh my
how they
God,
bone
and how
rushed
they
him like
even
that.
used
It was
the
shocking to see him
old
die that
plan.
quick. Yeah.
Like they used Quill's plan,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to hold him down and chop his arm off. Like that was brilliant, and but it was all for nothing still. But you know,
All right.
it,
all right.
it was
Yeah, it
like,
was actually-
I was the one in the
Yeah.
theater like kill him, kill him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were some things. I mean, amongst the party nerds, we've all made predictions. I know one of them was that Captain Marvel could possibly die in the first, however many minutes or whatever. So seeing her kick was,
Nah, she was
like a
badass.
relief. Like, oh, okay,
Oh, yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah,
was
she laid
badass.
him out. Like,
Yeah.
she laid him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came
She's
in
like-
and was no more
She's like,
game.
she got him over, and she was like, answer the question.
Right.
Answer
Yeah.
this
That was
question.
great.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a fantasy.
All right, so what do you,
All right,
Nikki,
so
what you got?
top 3. Let's say, okay, there was one moment where Nebula and Rocket are holding hands. And
Yeah.
pulling.
Dope.
I got goosebumps.
Wait, what?
Dope.
Yeah.
You didn't see that?
Yeah, when they
Well,
first got back. Yep, when they
Yeah.
first got
When
back.
Tony gets back?
Yup,
Yep.
they sit on the stairs of the
and
ship.
they're like,
Oh.
I'm
And
getting
Rocket-
goosebumps.
Yeah,
I'm getting
me
goosebumps.
too.
I'm getting goosebumps. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, they're mourning the
Because-
ones that they lost,
yeah,
and they're
because-
just thinking, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm getting such goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because Rocket
They
hasn't seen her
were
in
both
23 days, and they both
emotionally-
lost the
Yes,
same people.
yes.
They were both
Yep.
emotionally.
That was good. You got that off.
That
That
was
was
good.
good.
That was
Not
such a good-
capable of that. Before,
Exactly.
you know?
Yes, you saw them like humanized.
Mm.
And
Oh,
it was
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Okay, that's one.
Mhm.
Second would be the interaction between Captain Marvel and Peter Parker. That was like very brief.
That was
good.
awesome.
Peter Parker, you
That
have
was
something
good.
for me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know why, but I was like.
Mhm.
And then third would have to be Captain America fighting Captain America to America's ass.
America's ass.
Two American
And
America's
that-
ass.
Hail Hydra.
Love
that.
Yes.
Love that.
Oh my
Yes.
God!
Yeah.
So those were little moments that gave me insane like goosebumps. I
Like
was
he looked at himself and was like, "It really is America's
I
ass."
love
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah, that was dope. Babs, what you got, man? What's your top 3?
Okay, well, I will say for number 3 that the cheeseburger scene.
Yes.
So if I wasn't already sobbing, this little girl
I
who's
can't.
this fantastic actress, I wouldn't be surprised if she was like one of the cast members or one of
Yeah.
the crew members' kids,
Yeah,
because
she
she
was
had this
awesome.
level of calm around these people that was just like, you've been around them and you're natural. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like, your daddy loved cheeseburgers too. I'll get
That's
you all
right.
the cheeseburgers you want, and you're just cooking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because you can kind of see it coming. As soon as he said, what is your favorite food, or what do you want to eat?
Yep.
And you knew he was going to say cheeseburger.
And just how she's like curled up on the couch, and she's like,
Oh,
okay,
my
okay. But and the reason I say her is because I think one of the most iconic things that has come out of this movie is people saying, oh, I loved Avengers Endgame, I loved it 3000. Or, you know, like people saying, I love you 3000 now, that's an actual thing.
Did you see the meme with Thanos, I love you 1500?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He stepped half the level of
No, actually, that's a great segue because I actually really loved, as number 2, the Gamora Nebula interactions, how they flipped.
Right.
Where Nebula is now trying to convince the sister that had a sense of humanity and
what comes around goes around, and it just came full circle.
And then having that switch.
Seriously, this entire chat is goosebumps.
I mean, think about that's such good storytelling. I just watched Hellboy recently, and I was just sitting there going, "This is terrible storytelling." And then seeing this, where now you've opened up so many storylines that I'm actually interested in knowing, like Gamora and Peter rebuilding a relationship now because she has no concept, no memory of her interactions with people that she came to love in the same way that Scarlett Johansson found a family in the Avengers.
100%.
So then that, and then
you're number 1.
I mean, I gotta say, my girl came back through her portal, and she.
The Wasp?
Yep, that was awesome.
I gotta make sure the fans know.
Okay.
I gotta make sure the fans know.
Okay, so you might not be able to tell because I'm in my business clothes, just came from work, but when I get the suit on and I do the proper makeup, I can actually make myself a passable Wasp cosplayer.
The most passable Wasp cosplayer I've ever seen.
And she came back. She had the same suit, but she had the hair from the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was cool to have that new hair. And she was a part of the Women of Marvel, like, you know. Yeah. She's not alone, you know.
A-Force assembled.
And
that was nice to see, honestly.
A-Force.
I mean,
nice to see.
I love that.
Nice.
And you know, all the women, Pepper Potts, Okoye, everybody.
I got goosebumps when Pepper dropped.
Pepper and Tony came out of the jaw.
She dropped it to the stands.
There's so much hate in the fandom for Pepper. You know what I mean?
I'm cold right now.
And a lot of people don't like her because of Gwyneth. But I think Gwyneth did a fantastic job.
She did. She
And
seemed like she was fighting the whole fighting for 11 years pretty much.
Right.
Like, she fit right in.
I loved it.
I loved it.
It was good.
But yeah, I gotta say, you know, my girl coming back and having that storyline with Scott Lang where nothing really needed to be spelled out. It was like they're just together and they're happy.
What I love.
And they really love each other.
That's one that didn't need to be spelled out about.
Yeah.
We just
know.
I know one thing about, you know what I got from the Wasp? When Cap was talking about we have to about the time machine and all that, and she was like, "We're on it, Cap," and that was like a little nod because she made fun of Scott Lang. It's like, oh, you call him Cap?
Exactly.
Those little things, like
so many little nuggets in this movie, man. So all right, so those are the things.
Oh my God, we forgot about one of
my.
What you got? What you got?
When Iron Man says, "I'm Iron Man."
Oh yeah, because we knew he was dying after that.
I'm just gonna.
We knew he was dying.
Oh my God.
Let's stay on that because
it's fine.
We know. Like, all right, basically he did the snap, right? But why did it have to be him? Like, why did it have to be?
Why didn't it be Captain Marvel?
Well,
I think because go ahead.
So it has to do with the gauntlet. It has to do with the fact that in that time, who was actually capable of creating a gauntlet that could hold the Infinity Stones? Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And he is kind of the what is that called? The ace in the hole. Yeah. He is that guy that has the twist at the end always. It's like, oh, I've been secretly doing this whole time because he has this massive brain, these resources, and he's Iron Man. You know?
He's Iron Man.
I thought I was ready to talk about it, but I'm not.
You're not ready. You can come back to it later if you want. Like it's all good.
I thought I was ready.
It's all good.
But
okay.
I'm not.
All right. So who is your MVP?
Holy, give me a second.
Okay, we'll give you a second.
Come back.
Rick, who's your MVP, man? Who's your MVP? She was fighting in New York. She was fighting.
Why?
She was fighting in New York. We didn't know she was fighting in New York.
What if she decided not to give the Hulk the stone?
Yeah. I mean, obviously she gave you the stone, but she didn't give Bruce. She didn't give Bruce Banner.
This is actually one of the alternate storylines or timelines.
I know that.
Yeah.
And
I think her whole her whole dynamic was was crazy in that movie because it was like, number one, I got to find out that she was part of the Battle of New York. Yeah, like, we didn't know that. And then two, it was just like she had to actually humble herself. Actually, she was talking to Bruce. It was like, Wait, you mean Strange gave it up?
I can respect that unconventional choice. I like it.
Hulk stepped in there and said, "I need the stone," and she said no.
She
said
knocked
no.
him out.
Wham!
All right,
So
what about
she
you guys?
astro form out his physical
So
form.
she's your MVP.
That's my MVP.
Okay.
All right, my MVP.
Wasn't even ready for the question. You asked yourself.
No.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Scarlet. No, I'm going back to that Scarlet Witch stuff.
Nice.
Like, even though like that scene, I don't know what it is, but that scene. That's why I had to put it like 1A and the other one 1 because it's like that scene in particular because it was just like how she came up on the screen. Right. Number one, she was scary looking.
Yo,
You know what I'm saying? Like once she stepped on and got in front of Thanos, like Thanos had to stop and was like, "The fuck is this?" And she was just like, "You took everything from me," and he was like, "I don't even know who you are." And she was like, "You will, motherfucker." And then she just like her eyes got scary, and then she like rose, and it was just like you got to see like what she could actually do. And if he didn't call for backup, like the movie was about to be over.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, so she's like. Even though it was like a little snippet for me personally, it was just like that. Just the visuals of that scene, like really like stuck with me. It was like, dang, yo, like everybody, like you had Cap who ended up having Thor's powers, right?
Yep.
And you had Thor who had both hammers, right? And then you had Iron Man in his most updated suit, and they tried to take on Thanos 3-1, and they were like Thanos was just get off me. So, but Scarlet Witch comes around and he's calling for backup. Like, I don't care if you get rid of all our troops, you better get rid of this itch. So that's what it was, man. So you know that's my MVP. I don't know who you got.
Well, so I think if we're going literal, like who was the most valuable to the storyline? Clearly, you have Captain America and Tony Stark that are your MVPs. Like that's your go-to. But who was most essential for pushing the story along? I think it was Hulk. I think it was Bruce Banner.
I knew you was going to say that for some reason.
Think about all the videos online are explain what happened in Avengers Endgame. Explain the time dimensions and the timeline. All of these videos are about that timeline, and the quotes that people are using are all scenes that Bruce Banner that he's in or lines he actually says.
Right.
And that was the time heist was the whole premise of the movie.
Yeah.
So having him be there to explain and be that exposition.
Yeah, because he was talking to us. He was definitely talking to us and
also
keeping us
making
informed.
it relatable. Like, okay, like you're naming all these movies, but that isn't plausible.
Right.
So it was he was dumbing things down, but also making the movie move along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got that. Nikki. All right. So you had some time to
Also,
think about
but
it.
he's Daddy Hulk too.
Oh yeah. So all right. Real quick. So I'll give you a couple more minutes. Do you agree with the Daddy Hulk? Or the Zaddy Hulk?
First off, the
Zaddy Hulk?
intellectual Hulk was the most annoying part of the movie.
I'm gonna give you 5 because I kind of agree.
First off,
I kinda
they're telling me
agree.
that he was in this
agree.
radiation pod for 18 months, blah, blah, blah. First off, I
Can I-
couldn't stand his f***ing comedic scenes.
Ooh,
It was a little too much. It just kept dragging for no reason. I'm like, okay, I'm
Babs feelings
First off, no,
right now.
he's a second and I jump on his
all
phone.
right, so you get that.
Yeah,
But that's
but-
besides.
Was
I
there
get
really
you.
a big need for him to
No,
replace tacos?
no,
Come on.
no.
I'm sorry. No, the most pointless
Seems like your
comedy.
MVP is tarnished a
Was
little
he
bit.
fat?
No,
Thor?
he's
Oh,
he's
sorry.
not tarnished. He's perfectly fine as is.
I want angry
Mark
Hulk.
Ruffalo, if
I
you're-
want
if you're
the
watching
smack.
this,
And then he
if
goes
you're
in there and
watching
he's like lifting the car door. I can't.
I thought that was
I kinda like to
a
see it in
lot
New York.
more.
It was good. It
That was
good.
I could deal with that way easier than the fucking fat Thor.
Thank you, both of
everything.
them.
Yeah.
Like
Both
it was
of them.
funny the
See,
first
I
5
like
jokes.
that Thor.
30
No,
jokes
see,
in.
I like Fat Thor,
like the
but
Fat
it
Thor
kept getting
because
drawn out.
It's
Yeah,
annoying.
because of what
I'll
he
give you that.
came
It
from.
definitely got
Like
drawn
digging
out.
back to Ragnarok, like
Yeah.
you know,
They're just-
and
they're
that
dumbing
and hit
down
him like,
his
damn,
comedy.
I didn't go for the
They were
head.
dumbing down both Hulk and
I
Thor.
like that they went with Fat Thor.
I do too.
I'll give you that.
I do
Honestly,
too.
Like that showed
But
that
give
he
me
was
little
at rock bottom.
So this is what
snippets.
I'm not going to disagree with dumbing down the comedy. What happened with Thor was Thor was dealing with some mental health issues,
Yes.
right? So he had PTSD, he had depression,
Yeah.
he had all kinds of stuff going on because in Infinity War, like he didn't go for the head.
He's the fan.
So then when they found Thanos' ass, it was like he came over there, he chopped the arm off immediately, right?
Right.
And then when Thanos was like, the
You
work
are my
is done.
daughter.
The work is done,
Yeah.
mother.
Inevitable.
So he was like, okay, we don't have the we don't have the stones anymore. chopping his head off.
Right.
And he went into like this crazy depression. So it was just like
So
he didn't give a fuck anymore.
you're saying bad comedy is fine if it's a mental health issue.
I don't want to say that because that just sounds weird. But what I will
You're
say,
saying his Xanax prescription was running out.
Yeah, I'm saying Thor was actually he was going through some of that whole movie,
I
and
understand.
he definitely was not himself.
I understand.
And
He wasn't.
And I like that he
And
wasn't
why he
himself.
didn't do the snap.
But
and the
That's why.
reason,
You
yeah,
guys,
they wouldn't allow
it's
him to
not
do
a
that.
real person. It's a character that can be rewritten for their
Thank
bad
you. I
jokes.
love you.
I'm pretty sure in the next Guardians movie,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to hit the gym, and I think he's going to be
Oh,
back,
Can I say
back to
can I
himself.
say something I was disappointed in?
What you
Tell
got?
me.
Why didn't they have more Groot?
I agree.
I
Did
mean,
Vin
you.
Diesel
I would
just
like to
like
see
not?
Groot.
He
Why
was-
didn't they have
he
more
was-
Groot? Why didn't freaking Bruce Banner fight Thanos for a second? Everyone was like, "Oh, we have a Hulk."
You
we
know
have
what?
a Hulk.
Can I bring up a point?
Yeah.
Because I would have much rather seen the fight between Bruce Banner and the Hulk rather than Clint walk around
Thank
after
you.
we already
Thank
know what
you.
the happened.
Thank you.
You got to catch up, not us. You've
Thank
been gone for 5
Well,
years, but it felt like 5 hours.
You know what it is?
Not us.
You know what it is? The way they told Storks.
Stork, you know these things.
I put a couple characters together. The way they told the Hulk story is that he became this Professor Hulk, right? So,
But they didn't give
I
me
would've
enough
loved
of
to
that.
see
I know,
that. I
but
would have loved to see that.
he could. Professor Hulk can't go up against Thanos
I know.
because he doesn't have the rage to even.
Yeah, no, he's not
Thanos.
mad.
Now you got to
And
remember,
that was really
Thanos screwed.
disappointing.
Like 2014
It was.
Thanos.
Well, they've used his rage in
Yeah.
movies, and it's
I
maxed
just
out.
wanted a
do it.
little bit. Could you
I know.
imagine?
I wanted it too.
I would have like, oh my god.
I wanted it too, but it
they-
wasn't that same
But
Hulk
they also
anymore.
showed
No.
they also showed how the rage actually messed things up in
Right.
the time heist.
Yeah.
That is having a loose cannon
Yeah.
is a handicap, not
Mhm.
actually. And if I'm understanding correctly, which stop me if we don't want to talk about this.
No, we got time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm-
We good.
Loki and the
We're now operating under the assumption that the first Avengers movie they lost because they did
Yeah.
not
And you know what's funny?
capture
Yeah.
Loki. Loki
Yeah.
When
went.
Tony said, I lost again,
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
he said, I lost again.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm like, when did he lose? Like, obviously he lost against Thanos, but when was again?
Oh, that makes sense because your past becomes your
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
wait. Before we get
your
goosebumps.
future becomes your past. Yeah. Okay.
That's wait.
Calm your
So-
tits, calm down.
All right. He lost again. He's talking about losing to Thanos in the
See,
one-on-one
but why?
because he lost to Thanos in the one-on-one. He didn't want to come out again.
Oh, okay.
No,
And then
but how
Banner
is that
lost-
again?
Banner-
How
Banner-
is that again?
Banner lost
How
to
is that
him.
again?
Banner
No,
lost
no,
to him at the
He
end of
didn't see.
Wakanda.
Banner wasn't there.
He was at the Wakanda.
Yeah, Banner was in Wakanda, but when Tony got back after Captain
you
America
t-
dropped him off,
oh,
and he
you're
jumped off the
talking-
ship, all he
you're
seen
talking
was
about-
Cap. He
you're
said,
talking about-
I lost again.
So maybe
Are you
he was
so-
talking
so
about
who are
the
you talking
first
about right now?
Avenger. We're talking
When he dropped the missile on him?
Wait, what? No,
Iron Man?
we're talking about how Loki.
all right, go back.
Loki doesn't when they're all like, and he's like, remember at the end of the first
Yeah.
Avengers movie,
Right.
that never happened.
Right, that never happened now.
That never happened.
Right,
now.
that's
They're
why
saying-
I'm
Loki
thinking
got the Tesseract.
the
Oh,
Tesseract,
oh,
and he left.
Oh, good. All right, now I know what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
look,
That's why I'm thinking
so
Iron
back.
Man said
Again, because that became
time travel
reality.
rules. Time travel rules in the movie,
Uh-huh.
right?
Exactly.
So basically,
Little
all right.
prequel.
So when they went back in time in Endgame, right?
Uh-huh.
They go back in time, and it's like whatever they're doing in the past, right? It does not affect what's going on in their present.
It creates a.
It created
Yep.
another.
Another-
So
yeah.
Yep,
when
timeline.
Loki picked up that Tesseract,
He just created his
he
own.
went into his own
Yeah.
show that's going to be on Disney Plus.
And I can't
Exactly.
wait.
That's what happened.
I'm glad
So
you put it
that's
like
a-
that too.
That's
I'm glad
an
you put it like
alternate
that.
timeline.
That's
I'm
the
so
only
excited.
So-
loose end.
Yeah, so he's the loose end, and he's getting his own show. We're gonna
But-
see his
but
Avengers.
that
So it
did-
doesn't change. It doesn't change their
No.
past
Yes,
because
it does. Yes, it
because
does.
because Hulk, just like you said, Hulk laid it out for us. He said, "Yo, whatever happens in the past, we can go back and think we're changing the past, but we can't. It's not going to affect our present. So
Yeah.
all our memories are going to be the same.
Right.
What's happening is that you're creating different timelines.
Yes,
now
but
and then
that, okay.
Go ahead.
Right? Correct.
yeah.
If in this linear timeline,
Mm-hmm.
if you go here, if I'm looking
I'm
if
I'm
you
fine,
go
I'm
back,
fine.
if you go back
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna create another thing, right? It's gonna create another, just like your girl says, right?
So there's a new timeline now.
But what they were trying to do was create this, right? Now, when Loki, when things mess up and they don't get the Power Stone,
the Tesseract.
Well, the Tesseract is right. Right? When they don't get it, then that created another one. All the other ones, though, became a type of loop, right? So that did change things, and it does make sense. I'm not sure that it's true, but if your theory is correct, that timeline would support it.
I'm gonna tell you one thing,
Right.
and especially after did you guys see the Spider-Man trailer?
Yes.
You didn't see it yet? All right, you didn't see it yet.
It doesn't matter.
So the Spider-Man trailer, Mysterio, the villain, the villain Mysterio, right? So apparently he's from another Earth. So them going around, this is Mysterio.
Okay.
Yeah. So them going around trying to collect Infinity Stones from different timelines and stuff, right? Messed up like time and space. So now
it's the multiverse
different. So
now.
now we're definitely like full fledged in the multiverse.
I'm so excited.
So what you're saying definitely is in play.
Yeah.
So and another thing is in the movie, like the Ancient One explained, if you take the Infinity Stones out, you can mess up time and space pretty much, right? So there's no Infinity Stones in our timeline anymore. So remember that.
Wait.
Because Thanos got rid of them.
Yes.
They had to put Infinity
everything
Stones
back. They had to put everything back.
I have.
Yes, here we go.
What'd you know
Babs' map and detail.
So final battle.
I love this. I love this.
I like this one.
All right, so
In
the stones.
2023.
The stones.
Yeah.
2023.
They're blown. They don't exist no more. So they're
That's
gone.
right.
They
They don't exist. So
They're
the
gone.
stones in 2023, they don't exist in present day, right? Because
after
Thanos
the
got
final
rid of them.
battle,
Yeah,
right.
that's
Use
right.
the stones to break the stones.
He used the stone exactly.
Oh no,
what he
you're
said.
you're saying
Beheaded time.
in 2018 they don't exist because he
Yes.
he
He
used
used them.
stones.
Yeah.
Okay, 2023, 5 years later,
There you go.
after the snap,
Right.
then they are put into the Iron Man gauntlet,
Right.
and
Right.
he uses them to snap him away,
Right.
and his army,
Mhm.
and then that's when Cap goes back in time to all the previous timelines
Yep.
Right.
to return everything, including Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he had
back to
to
its
because he had to
rightful
make that
place.
timeline
Oh
right.
Right, exactly.
man,
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
did
even
something.
peep that.
No, he had
Honestly,
to.
that's why he brought Mjolnir.
Yeah, he wasn't using it. He was placing it back.
Idiot.
In the
That was kind of
Idiot.
It was kind of a
Thor-
for Thor to take
and
it.
Thor knew what happened that day, so it was just like,
Wow, one of the best
But
parts.
there you go.
Which
That does
Wow.
support your theory that they wrote things into Thor's storyline that are extremely frustrating because he was in a place that was frustrating.
he didn't get. Thor didn't get kind of normal until he talked to his mom. And his mom assured him like,
That was his.
don't.
Yep, you need to be who you need to be.
You don't have to be who you're supposed to be. Like you don't have to be king of Asgard. Pretty much, like be who you are. Like be who you are, and that put him back on. All right, I'm kind of like the God of Thunder. So
Yeah, well, I think in this story, I know this sounds a little bit corny. We have time loops and we have story resolution loops.
yeah,
And you kind of knew that someone was gonna be, finished when their resolution happened.
Yeah.
So when Black Widow reunited and held hands with Clint, you knew
yeah. When they in Tokyo,
she's done. She's
I'm
done
happy
for
about it.
because she had her resolution.
yeah.
So you have that. So what I did was I wrote out based off of some maps that I found online. I wrote out the timeline, just trying to understand, because if there's anything I can take away from this movie, it's that I'm a dumb bitch. I mean, to be fair, it's quantum mechanics, and I didn't go to school for
Yeah,
quantum
I don't have a degree in
mechanics.
that.
But there are so many people on the internet that get this.
If you have, please like a comment. Please drop
Yeah.
one.
Be my tutor.
Let us know everything
out.
that worked out.
This
and
is
didn't
better
work out, please.
research.
And if you're Daddy Hulk and you can explain quantum
Oh, my.
mechanics to me, that's
Daddy
totally
Hulk.
fine
Mark
too.
Ruffalo again. If you're watching and you're green,
Yes.
then please holler at Babs.
if you're wearing some tight ass sweaters and like
Glasses.
scrub,
Just spray yourself green and
I'm
you're
sorry,
good.
I'm right
I'm
here.
telling you, I promise you.
And you are the same color
As the time stone.
Yeah, just
wait, if you're the strongest Avenger, then
The strongest Avenger.
that might make Thor mad. But,
So here's one thing that had me thinking.
Okay.
And we talked about this on the Party Nerds episode of Endgame. I said what caught me up was that they talked about Hulk being made for the gauntlet,
Right.
for the original gauntlet, because he's literally made of gamma radiation. It was like he was born
Right.
to do this. So
Yeah,
he
Yep.
was strong. And Bruce says in the movie at one point when they ask him to do the smarts of Time Heist, he says, you need someone with a bigger brain than me. And that was Tony Stark. So you've got brains, you've got brawn.
Right.
While I mean, Daddy is
You need to
really
leave.
smart. But,
Yeah.
I was thinking because
I feel.
okay, so Gamora. I was wondering why she wasn't snapped, because she is from the 2014 timeline.
Right.
Why wasn't she snapped with the rest of the army? And I read somewhere. Do you remember the whole "Who's Gamora?" I'll give you a better question. Why is Gamora? Where is Gamora? Why
The
is
best
Gamora?
improvised
Gamora?
line
Yes.
of all
Yes.
time.
That is so awesome.
But do you
Why is
remember-
Gamora?
Yeah. So, but do you remember?
You rock, Dave Bautista.
Yes, you
Oh, yeah.
do. Go watch Stuber.
Stuber.
What was I gonna say? Tony
is Gamora?
Stark didn't know who Gamora is, so
That's
he
right.
couldn't visualize.
That's right. That's good.
her.
That's
That's
good.
amazing.
And that's
really
why she
good.
didn't get snapped.
That's really good.
Oh,
I
shit.
don't know if that's
Good.
the real
Good.
reason,
That's
but
good.
Because and you
That's
know
good.
what? You know what? And he's probably thinking in his head, I want to get rid of Thanos' forces that are aligned
And
with him.
technically,
And
she would
jumped,
be.
but she didn't. She jumped ship. So
But
She
you know it's
jumped
good.
ship.
So
That's
But
right.
you
That
also
was
couldn't
good.
picture her.
exactly. So
About
I
the
think.
2014.
So my question.
Hold
my-
hold on.
I
But
love
the
it.
2014, when Thanos was looking at Nebula's future
Yeah.
projection, he said, that's the Avengers.
Yeah, he did. Oh, well, he knew.
2014.
Well, he knew because he had just
That's
fought
who
them in
did-
New York. Yeah,
that-
so
well,
he knows
he
who
just
they
got
are.
bombed by
But
them.
Tony doesn't know who Gamora is, so he
Uh-huh.
couldn't snap her away. He snapped everybody else that was on his side, and she had just jumped ship just in
Right,
time.
right.
My question to y'all is, where the hell did she go?
Yeah,
ship
where
did
the
she jump on?
Okay, well you'll find out in Guardians of the Galaxy, Valerie.
Yeah.
Victoria.
Well, and I love that. I love that there's that and there's
Loki.
Her. I mean, their
Going
will
to the
they,
Bible
won't
show.
they relationship. I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp had it, but like they're so cute that it's just like they will.
Yeah.
And they do.
So he has to
But
make
Peter
her
Quill
fall in love
and
with him. again.
Gamora have this like back and forth
Yeah.
that just really made the film.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and he has to make her fall in love with him.
Yeah,
again.
and I
which,
love
which
that.
Is, which is awesome.
I'm excited
Kick him
about
in the
that
ass
because
twice.
it happened too quickly for me before. I want it drawn out.
Okay, so I know another topic that we have mixed emotions about. The Black Widow, because I love Black Widow.
Yeah.
I do know.
She's like between her and the Scarlet Witch, they're like my favorite characters.
Okay.
And
Okay, I gotta say this. He has the same shaped lips as Scarlett Johansson.
Oh my
I
god.
love her. So that
Isn't
that
it-
works.
I love you too,
Fate!
Scarlett. Hopefully you
It's
see
fate.
this.
We're-
My
we're-
puppy
we're-
James
fate.
after
It's
you.
this thing. It's the pouty lips. And the only reason I know that, which I know that sounds really weird that I know that, is because I do makeup and contouring. I'm like, oh, that's the shape. That's the shape.
Oh
Black Widow
So-
will live to my
so-
puppy.
So I know her death hurt me.
It hurt
Because
me.
I was thinking she's a survivor. She's gonna get past all this. She's gonna be in the next phase.
You know what?
No, she's not. And she was on that cliff. She was on that cliff with Clint, and she was like, "Just let me go." And that was the
For a
best
brief
face
second.
I've ever seen her in the MCU. And I was like, "No, don't go, don't fall.
No,
that's
go.
right.
Let Clint
No.
fall. Just let Clint
Her
fall."
story
I
was
need
done.
you.
No.
And then
It
we
was
were her.
done. It's
was
done.
her.
She's
was-
gone.
You know
Let
what?
it
For a
go.
second, I
It's
thought
fine.
Clint was gonna throw her off. For a split second, I thought Clint was
But-
gonna throw her off.
Clint dying
we-
would have been melodramatic as
He need to get back to his
But
family.
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
agree, though. that gave her such a good story.
It
No, it
did.
does.
And a lot of
it brings
actors,
everything full
they
circle.
love
She deserved-
a good death, and that was a good death.
No, it was needed, and
Yeah.
it was perfect for the movie. It was perfect for her art.
Literally the last
She
person,
literally was a
though.
villain when she started out.
Yep.
Clint spared her because he was supposed to kill her, and he was like, "Nah,
He was
nah."
her humanity.
You know what I'm saying? And now
Yeah.
she's allowing him to right his wrongs
Right.
because he didn't judge her. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna let you live, and you can rock with us on whatchamacallit."
I keep telling everybody they should move on. Some do, but not us.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
We will. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Widow
And
back
then
in the day when he
yeah.
went to go, he was supposed to go kill her. Brought her into Shield. Now he went on his own killing spree after he found out his family got snapped.
Sorry, why don't they ever say Ronin? Like, why?
They don't really say Hawkeye either. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
this is
true.
this is the thing with the MCU. I'm glad you brought that
Is
up
it because of rights?
No. They just they're more real. It's like
Yeah.
realistic. Like they're not gonna say, "Hey, Iron Man, what's up,
Yeah.
Captain America?
Yeah.
I'm just chilling." Like they don't do that. No, Black Widow. No, they call each other by their name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
More
basically,
personable.
who's gonna call him Hawkeye?
More personable.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's been called the
Well,
Hawk.
He calls his daughter that, doesn't he?
He
He
did,
did call
and that's
his daughter
that's
that.
the- and that's just
doesn't
did.
doesn't she become?
I believe.
well,
Yes.
it's a
later on,
Kate,
Yes.
it's a Kate,
later on,
it's-
yeah.
all right. So
It's
there's a
gonna
Kate
happen.
Bishop, which is not his daughter, but his daughter might take on the Kate Bishop
Yes.
persona and become the next Hawkeye.
Yes.
So you're right. So you're
That's
not
what-
wrong.
That's
you're right.
what I was
That's
thinking when
happening.
he said
He's gonna
that.
take that persona,
I thought, oh, are
I
they
can't
gonna?
wait.
Yeah.
which is and that would be dope.
But
I mean,
I have to say,
Hawkeye and Morgan.
I've got to say, Clint Barton, even though he didn't have so much screen time, and he's very underrated.
He is.
That's underrated.
So,
I
and
agree.
I also have extra love for him because this is a little trivia. Do you know? Oh God, now I've forgotten his name.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
Mhm.
Do you know how he started his career?
How?
No.
Do a what?
A makeup artist.
Get the
Yeah. So you can find interviews with him.
The more you know.
Yeah, there have been female interviewers that know this about him, and they say,
fucking awesome,
can you
dude.
give the women out there just a little tip from your career?" And he'll
Facts.
be like, "Look,
You look like you could do
ladies,
some makeup.
all you
Yeah.
need is a little bit of tinted chapstick and a swipe of mascara, and you look beautiful."
I
Like,
love him.
I know.
This tip brought to you by Bags.
Yo,
That's
no, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing, yo. He played when the parts that he was playing in, like he played his part. He played his part to like he acted this. You know what I
Yes.
like
He's phenomenal.
after Natasha died, and they were sitting on the deck and they were sitting there like. Thor's like, "What do you mean? We got the stones. We could bring her back." And he was like, "No, like, it can't be
that's what
undone."
the
The way
guy
he
said, that's what he
acted that
said.
part
Yeah.
was really believable.
I
Like he was like, "Why don't you go grab your hammer, go
Right.
talk to the red floating guy,
Yeah.
Right.
and you go like you know what I'm saying? Like the way he did that, like I
Yeah.
believed him.
Yeah,
like,
me
I believed
too.
him.
I
Like he
have a
played the
quick
hell out of that part. But he's a great actor
question.
anyway.
Why didn't Nat get a funeral?
So I said that
That's a
out
good question.
loud. I thought it was
I
being
was like
obnoxious.
sad about
So-
it.
I went, what about Natasha?
That's
Yeah.
so
I was
weird.
the only one in the theater that reacted.
So this is
To
the
Natasha
thing. This is the thing.
dying?
This is the
Yes.
thing. So her. All right.
My theater was whack.
What
Okay.
happens is they couldn't have two funerals in that movie, right? They didn't want to have
Why?
two. That's number one.
Why?
They
So
could've.
this is
They didn't want
they
to.
could have maybe, but they didn't.
Maybe she not dead.
They're in the middle of trying to bring everybody back. So
Yeah.
what they did was they had number one. They don't have her body either. So
Yeah.
And
they
she
don't-
doesn't have a family.
She doesn't. Yeah.
She don't got a
So-
and
Wow,
Cap
the
said.
Avengers are.
Cap said.
Yeah, the Avengers.
Tony was like, "Yo, does she have any family?" And he
Us.
was like, "We are
Us.
family.
Yeah,
It's
that's
us.
it, yeah.
We
So-
are." You know what I'm saying?
So there's that,
Mhm.
and then there was a part of me that actually thought for a split second, this is actually like this is refound memories. I didn't remember that I thought this.
Okay.
When I was watching it, I went, what about Natasha?
Yeah.
When the funeral started and I wasn't seeing something for her, and then I thought the Avengers, all the characters in this, if we're going in that realism frame of mind, they obviously had last wills.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you know that they did, and
Yeah.
it is a very Natasha Romanoff move to be like, please don't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
shit,
she's
yeah.
been
doesn't
off the
want-
grid for basically all her whole
Exactly.
life. Her whole
So
life.
that's what I was like. Okay, that might not be the reason, but in my mind, that makes sense.
Yeah, and the people that she's closest to, which are the Avengers, they had. I'm pretty sure they had their own center moon, and they were sitting there after the fact, thinking, all right. Can we bring her back? We can't bring her back. All right, we have to snap everybody back.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of things going on. So I'm
Yeah,
not
they
too
could never.
pressed on her funeral because she's not the public figure
That's
because she's
right.
off the grid. She's not the
Yeah.
public figure
Yeah.
that Tony
I can't wait
Stark
for her
is.
movie.
Yeah, her movie
Same.
will be
It's gonna
dope.
be amazing.
And
even though
she
I just
she
don't.
directing it, or is she just?
I think she's a producer on it.
She's a producer.
She's a producer.
Which
She has
makes her
producing
the
credit.
very first Avenger, isn't it?
Yeah, producing credit.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
produce,
Shout
yeah.
out Scarlett.
And
Producing
starring.
credit. She might be getting $20 million for that thing. So
Yeah,
open up the
man.
bank.
Do you remember way back when
Mm-hmm.
they were doing Comic Cons and they were doing press tours?
Yeah.
And it was before everyone had all this hate for Scarlett for the roles that she plays and the fact that she doesn't stand up against whitewashing as much as she should.
Okay.
People were very pro Scarlett Johansson because at these press junkets, people would say to Robert Downey Jr., you know, how did you get into the mindset of Tony Stark? And then they'd look at Scarlett Johansson, they'd be like, so you got a fat ass, girl, you know, and they'd say like, oh, what did you do to make your butt so bubbly? You know, like something
Right.
stupid
You know what's
like
funny?
that.
Stupid
And
stuff.
Robert Downey Jr. would be like, why didn't you ask me that question?
Yeah.
To
100%.
defend her.
Yeah, he's a he's a good dude though.
There was once where
Incredible.
all the
Yeah, he's a
Avengers
good
were
dude.
on the set, and they asked Scarlett Johansson a fashion question, and she's like, "You picked that question for me?"
Yes, yes.
And
Yeah.
I was watching it like, "You picked that question for her?
Yeah,
Come
like,
on!"
I want to see. The thing is, like somebody like a actress like her, right? That gets like when she gets a role, like she gets into it. So she does the training and everything.
Yep.
So
Hell yeah.
me personally, I'm like, yo, so how are you doing those moves? That's what I want to
Right.
know. Like, so how are you
Right.
pulling those moves
Yeah.
off on camera like that? Like, I don't want to hear like. Oh, well, you know, some fashion questions or what she did
Not
with
at
her makeup.
all.
Like, no,
Right.
I don't want to hear
wear.
that.
That's the last thing I want to
She's
hear.
already
Oh,
fine. I don't need no answers for that.
Exactly. I don't care if
Right,
you shop
You
at
know,
JC
so
Penney.
I want to
Scarlett,
hear
holla
how
at
she
me.
gets in a role because I like how she does her role.
Because this is how you actually started the conversation. You said,
Okay.
I know that we're a little divided on this. And you started to say how much you love
do
Black
too.
Widow. And the reason why we're divided is a lot of us were totally okay with her death.
Yeah.
Over
Yes,
Hawkeye.
it was.
I was sad,
needed.
but it is needed.
Exactly.
Like
I
for the
was
greater good,
sad,
it's needed. Don't
but
get
I
me
was
wrong.
okay with it because
It gave the
I would
Avengers
cut a
purpose.
bitch
it was
if
it
Hawkeye.
was done. Her story was done. I'm
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
I was over it for
And
a
she
while.
doesn't. She doesn't have extended family. She
Exactly.
It's just,
Okay.
And I kind of forget that she's there sometimes.
Yeah, and then they just try.
Wow.
Sorry.
No. Can we say, if we're going back into the movies,
Think about
they
it.
just keep on trying to pair her romantically
Exactly.
with somebody.
That
Yes,
I don't
next
like.
movie.
That I
too.
don't like
Me
because it was Winter Soldier. They were like,
No,
have
it
this
was
kid-
Iron Man first. I want one.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
I do love that line though because I wanted one too. And
Who didn't?
but Winter Soldier is the one that got me because they just made her like for the sake
She
of
was
being
pining
undercover.
for him,
She was
and
like,
then Bucky.
and they kissed on the
Yep.
Like
the
what
escalator.
the fuck? All of
Like
that,
that was
pissed
unnecessary.
me off.
Like, that was unnecessary.
it's
Like,
like
oh,
she-
this is the only way we can stay.
Exactly.
We have to kiss.
That was
like,
enough.
That was dumb. Great
Well,
movie.
no, well,
It was,
and
that
that's,
part was
that's
dumb.
for the larger problem with how they how Black Widow has been depicted.
Yeah.
Is that this is the only type of storyline that anybody will pay to watch you.
And that's
in.
f***ed up.
and
And
she
that's
got
annoying.
forced up.
And then
Age of
doing
Ultron.
that f***ed her up.
So-
Age of Ultron, she got forced into that relationship.
Yeah,
like
well-
it got written, forced into that
Right,
relationship.
and
before.
so there's a part of me that on her behalf,
Yeah.
not against her, on her behalf, just kill the character off so she can start a new story.
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Like just cleanse it.
Yeah, there's it's not necessary that she has to be romantically involved with somebody for the story to be
Think
like.
about our favorite female heroes. Their story arc is not popular because of their romantic side.
Exactly.
Who's
Nobody
like,
cares.
oh, Wasp was amazing because of how she
No.
kissed Ant-Man.
If they do that with
No.
Captain Marvel, I'll fucking lose it.
no way.
Yeah.
I'll fucking lose it.
No way. And no way would Brie
Actually,
Larson.
I like the fact that Captain Marvel didn't have a love interest in
Thank
the
you.
movie.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
that was
Thank you.
refreshing
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
but and it seems like it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl. Like they want to force some type of romantic relationship with a hero, and sometimes you just gotta let them do what they do.
I think Shuri,
Sure.
Shuri doesn't have anything. Even Pepper with her goodbye to her husband, right?
Right.
She's not going. Don't leave me.
She was ready. We'll be okay.
And you know what? That's
We'll be
exactly
okay.
how a wife or anybody
react,
in that situation would have reacted.
She knows her husband, and she knew
She
that
would have told him.
he knew that he was.
I'm gonna be okay.
I mean, he
was
had
freaking
PTSD.
out. Oh my god!
And
I'm still not ready. I can't. I'm sorry.
I mean, we love the women who are independent. When you were talking about Captain Marvel holding Thanos' head, that could be a male character.
Yeah. Can we take a second to talk about the women in this movie? Do you believe that
yes,
they were given?
I love women. So
do you believe they were given
enough airtime?
Yeah.
I say
I think so.
no,
Not at all.
because Wasp needed a lot more.
So
Shuri was
coming out at the end.
let me jump on that.
I just wish the last battle was a little longer.
So this is I agree, and this is the problem with this is I'm like agreeing with you in a way. So give me a second.
Okay, take your time, baby.
Because everybody, the way they brought back everybody with the snap, right? With Hulk snap.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough screen time for any
You're
character.
right.
They pretty much through Spider-Man had like some of the most screen time after whatchamacallit, but he's Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Marvel.
Captain Marvel
had screen time.
Valkyrie.
Doctor Strange.
Valkyrie had some screen time during that fight. Scarlet Witch had her own personal
I understand,
thing.
but I needed
So it was
more.
hard. It's hard because
my only gripe, really, like the biggest one I've had so far, was that battle not being as much as I wanted it.
Well,
to be.
they said there's like an extended, like they shot that longer,
Oh.
so we might
God.
get a
What would
director's
you
cut
have
of that battle.
sacrificed? So take one part of the
Every
movie.
fucking Hulk and Fat Thor joke on the fucking planet and give me the battle. Get those fucking kids with the camera.
Anything.
Oh, you can take a picture with me too. I'm Ant-Man. Get that
anything.
shit the fuck out of
Okay,
here.
Everything you just said and more could have
I
been taken out from more
The
of that
taco
battle.
scene? Get the fuck out of here with that taco.
Yeah, I didn't care for the
Where's the
taco.
sour cream?
I like
Get the
tacos.
Wow.
I hated that part.
I'm so angry
No,
right now.
I usually would agree with that.
But
I liked it. And you want to know why I liked
Why?
why I liked the picture, the photo say green? Because it was totally what a cosplayer goes through. When I first started as Wasp, nobody knew who the fuck I was because I was going off of behind the scenes set pictures,
So you
right?
was ahead of
so
the
I'm
game
showing
already.
I'm showing up at cons going like, I'm the Wasp, and they're like, who the fuck is that? You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, can you hold their bags while I take their picture? And so you're just sitting there like, oh, you don't know who I am.
Yeah.
It's fine. You don't want my picture. It's fine. I know that's a little egotistical,
little more
but that does happen in the cosplay world, and it was funny to watch that.
Okay,
Yeah, I
it
would've
was
liked a little
funny
more
for
for the Hulk.
literally a tenth of a second.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I
agree.
That
I
if
would've
I would have
liked a little more
sacrificed
Groot in
all
the Hulk.
the, you know what? Yeah, same. You know what? Rocket's comedic scenes were by far the best.
Yes.
in the
Rocket's
movie.
always
Is
the
that
best.
Rocket?
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Rocket's always the best.
Oh,
Rocket.
come on, airbag! At the end, was,
Yeah.
so his comedic scenes were actually well written and fucking hilarious.
Rocket.
And succinct.
But Daddy Hulk and Fat Thor, I could have done less of.
Daddy Hulk.
I seriously
can't
thought you were a
unseen that.
Build-A-Bear. Maybe I am.
Oh yeah, that Build-A-Bear joke
Yep.
was good. That Build-A-Bear.
See?
You know what? Another thing that was dope, man. When Tony was sick, and he was like he was like
Yeah.
they
He
made
looked like he
the
was
CGI
dying.
really made him look
Yeah.
like
He
he
was
was sick.
dying.
And
Yeah.
the way he went at Cap, like that shit was like crazy.
Ripped off his
to me.
Okay.
reactor and
Like-
Do we
put it
want to
in
go
his
into
hand.
this at all?
I fucking
What
love
you got?
that.
Let's go.
Okay.
I got it.
What I'm still not understanding is how many caps are there?
Yeah.
4?
So I was hearing about that. Like
4?
yeah, so this is
Well,
all right.
besides Falcon Cap, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not
Okay.
we're not counting the
So,
Falcon.
I
this is
personally
what I
wish they
have.
would've went
This
I
is
want
what
to
I
hear it
have.
because I'm confused too.
This
so
is
go
what I
ahead.
have. So, let's start chronologically, literally.
Okay.
1940s. Steve is there.
Steve
Yes,
is
he's
there.
definitely there.
He's there.
Skinny kid from Brooklyn.
Well, so he was there originally,
Right.
and he was put into cryo, right?
Right.
Right.
Right. No. He
No.
died. He died. Remember?
Well, he didn't technically die. He
You know what
went
I
in the
mean?
ice. He went in the ice.
He got
yeah,
frozen
yeah.
in the
It's called
ice.
So you know what I
capsicle.
mean. You know what I mean.
Capsicle.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Capsicle happened in the 1940s.
Okay.
Then, from 2023, time heist. Back to the 1940s, Steve lives a long and happy life.
Alternate timeline.
Into 2023.
And let me say, I'm happy he got that dance.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we
I love that.
I
He got
predicted
that
that dance.
I do
I'm
too.
happy he got
I needed that.
I always said because everybody thought he was dying.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, no, he has to get that dance. If you saw Captain America, the first Avenger, you knew the number one thing he wanted was that
like
dance.
we said earlier, there are all these little Easter eggs, these little moments. Old Man Rogers is a prominent part of a lot of different comic books.
It's in comic book lines. I
multiverse.
have comic books with Old Man Rogers.
Right.
So.
And I like that character.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But alternate timeline
There's a Steve in the 1940s that goes into ice.
Yes.
Popsicle.
And lives with
There's
Peggy.
a Steve that lives with Peggy. So he had to. Oh, I'm gonna get back to that.
Yes.
Okay. Then there's Steve that time heisted back to the 1970s.
Woo! Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Who took the PIM capsules.
Yes, because he had to take. Yes.
Then there's a Steve existing in 2000.
Can I ask you a question? And remember where you're at. How was he able to put the PIM particles back? Because wouldn't that mess up?
I don't think he did.
Because he's using them, right?
Because he went back to Howard Stark.
Okay.
And he had to get another shield,
But
right?
he only got 4.
Yeah.
So he had to get him to make him another shield and give him back the PIM capsules.
Oh.
But didn't he use those
He
capsules?
used 4.
He
only
used
got
them.
He needed to get
4,
more,
maybe.
right?
I'm confused by that. All right,
I'm
back to you.
confused by all of it.
I just
Anyway,
Keep
I want you
going.
to get
I'm
back to
loving
where
this
you're
right
going,
now.
but
So
I just-
Zip your finger, let I want to.
that's like a whole nother video.
Yeah, that's
So
a
then
whole
there's
coming soon.
2012 it was the first Avengers battle, right? So there's a Steve there.
Yes.
And they fought there as well.
Yes.
Right? Because that's where
God, this is
he
great.
takes
Yeah,
the
this is
sept and Tony drops the Tesseract
Yep,
and
yep.
Loki steals it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that already we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yeah.
Then we have
Oh my god, this is.
and one of those Steves are actually these Steves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 Steves.
5 Steves.
Okay, so all of them exist independently. Wait. Are they overlapping? Are they the same Steve, or are they different Steves?
So one thing I can tell you that there's different Steves in different timelines, and definitely this timeline here.
Yeah.
There was a
new
timeline
Steve.
where there was 2 Steves where this Steve was
definitely a new
able to
So
grow
while
old.
he was
able
in-
to grow
yeah.
old with Peggy,
Yep.
right?
So what
And the other one came, and eventually the other
And I
one came
think
out
that's
the ice.
why he didn't tell Sam about it.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't.
Yeah.
But did you notice that Bucky knew?
Oh, he had to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Bucky knew.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bucky
Bucky
definitely
knew.
knew.
Bucky
He
knew the
said-
whole time.
What did he say when
I'll
he
miss
hugged
you.
him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the Bucky
Once
from
he said
that
I miss
past.
you, he was already
he
aware
is.
of his plan
He
because he
knew
had to
that.
tell
Maybe.
Buck
Maybe,
because
but that's the
because
same
of their
Buck.
relationship. Like Captain America based this whole arc on once
Yeah,
he
Bucky
knew
was
that
up in
Winter
Ice
Soldier
for
was
100
Bucky. He was like, "Yo, I got to get my friend back." And now you're just gonna leave your friend. So
Right.
I could literally imagine Cap going back to the 40s, getting with Peggy for the
yeah.
finally for real, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then like I gotta go find my
So-
brother, and I'm like,
Right.
he's not gonna be the Winter Soldier. He's gonna be the best man at my wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
So and you know that Bucky was extreme.
Honestly, this is the first time I'm discussing this movie since it came out. This is the first time, and this is too much for me.
and then, if I may, in I think it was Civil War is when
I know.
Steve is at Peggy Carter's
Funeral.
deathbed,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, the funeral.
No.
Yep.
Deathbed was
The
the
funeral.
Winter Soldier.
Oh, Winter
No,
Soldier.
that was the-
No, not the deathbed. She was in bed.
She was
the,
in bed.
in Winter
and-
Soldier. She was
yeah,
in bed.
was
She
in
didn't
the-
die yet. She didn't die
She
yet.
died in
But
Civil
she
War.
died in Civil War.
So
She died in
I
Civil
saw
War.
a theory out there
All right, what's the theory?
that when he looks at her locket,
Yeah.
it's Skinny Steve, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skinny
Yeah.
I
Steve.
remember that.
Yeah.
And on her
Yeah.
bedside table,
It's
it's
bu-
only her children.
That's right. Okay.
Okay? So if you still loved your husband, why wouldn't your husband be on there? If you still love Steve, why wouldn't it be like, thick Steve? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Why would you do that unless you were protecting that he went back in time?
My mind
Right?
blown.
They never say, they're like, oh, my husband, who I won't name. I think it's because her kids are Steve's.
I feel dumber now.
Wow.
Yep. I just feel like I don't.
This
have
is
anything
too
anymore.
much.
That was
That's
dope.
okay.
That was dope.
Well,
That was
then,
great.
Wouldn't that
That's
be
a
great?
whole other video
You
right
did,
there.
yeah. You did great.
Brought to you by Babs and all of us.
Yeah.
We're gonna be
Okay.
back to visit that one, ball.
All right. So great.
Holy
Let's
So
can
good.
we please give a couple minutes and just talk about how great Thanos is for a second as a villain,
Yeah.
as a CGI villain
Yeah.
that came to life. that dropped the illest bars I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Like either whether it was physicality or wordplay, just like intimidated his opponents. Like how good is Josh Brolin in that?
Josh Brolin
You did all
took
that.
it to an
And we're
absolute
taking
level that I never.
back to
I
me.
just, you're amazing. Also, happy he's 51.
Oh
and
my
looking
God, he looks
out
great.
He's a
like-
new baby too.
Yeah,
He looks
he's
great.
incredible. But your Thanos,
Yeah.
We're
Way
still,
better
one
than
of the
Cable.
only
Way
villains, one of
better
the
than
only
Cable.
villains.
Nah,
Wait, what?
way better
his
than
cable was
Cable.
great.
His Cable was
It
phenomenal.
was good.
I like
It
his
wasn't
cable.
Thanos.
I like his cable, but
It
that
wasn't
Thanos.
Thanos.
Let
I
me
mean,
just
Thanos
say
is on
something.
another
Thanos.
level.
Well, and
I was
and,
on Thanos' side for a very.
Oh my
Right?
God, because he
Hey.
makes you believe.
Exactly.
He's so compelling.
Well, and
Exactly.
it always
Ah,
reminds
I
me
got my shirt.
of that line in The Office where Dwight says we need another
New plague.
plague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that a lot
I mean,
too
we
now.
go to, when we go to cons and we're
Yeah.
at New York Comic Con, 125,000 people surrounding us. We're walking through, going, "We need another plague."
Yeah, all
Yeah.
the time.
No offense to other con goers, but Jesus, that's really overwhelming.
Insane.
So thinking about Thanos just going like this, and then you'd get like
Poof.
yeah, you'd get half of the people gone. You side with him.
When Thanos sat there and was like, "Yo, you couldn't live with your own failure."
Yeah, where'd that bring
And
you?
this is
Where'd that
2014
bring
Thanos
you?
that saw everything play out. Like, oh, I collected the stones. Like you couldn't live with your own
I'm
failure.
inevitable.
Where did that bring you?
Back
to
to
me.
me.
Like Act just was like, I'm just like,
Incredible.
why is he such a genius?
But I
Right.
will say,
Because his brain's because he's
I-
fucking.
It's purple. That's why.
I will say, so one, it's a testament to his performance because
Yeah.
the fandom, any nerd fandom, is very critical of a villain because I think we like villains better.
Yeah,
I
we do.
love
You know,
villains.
we,
Oh, yeah.
we love our
Like I'm a
villains.
huge
Absolutely.
Transformers fan.
Honestly,
I love the
The only
Decepticons.
Right.
issue I ever had with Marvel was the villains never got me the way DC villains
Like,
did.
Of course.
unfortunately,
Thanos
Ronan-
got me as
Yeah.
much as a
Ronan-
DC villain
Ronan.
did.
Yeah.
I
I
thought,
hate DC.
even though I
Huh?
I
love,
hate DC.
I love DC.
even though I love that actor, the one that plays Ronan,
He
Lee
seemed-
Pace.
Yes,
He
yes.
seemed
I
kind of
love it.
simplistic.
It
He was simplistic.
wasn't fleshed
It
out
wasn't,
well
Right.
enough.
yeah.
Right.
So testament to Josh Brolin and
Oh
the
my God.
writers and the animators.
Incredible
They
job.
wrote
And
his
the costume
lines like
designers.
crazy. And his CGI is amazing. Like I
Uh-huh.
believe
Yeah.
that is. I think
Yeah.
Thanos is real.
But
Yeah.
I will
Yep.
say that they did something. If anything, I'm sure they were all aware that people were like, I'm kind of on Thanos' side.
Yeah.
And then they show, like, okay, a villain is actually a successful villain because they make sense.
Yep.
Think about
Yep.
every cult leader.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not these evil people. They're
You gotta
people
get
that
people
make
to buy
sense.
in.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotta get
They
people
might
to
be.
buy
They
in.
might be just a tad
So
bit
then
smarter than everybody
Yeah.
When
else.
he
Well,
looks
duh.
around and he says, "Well, I failed," even though he was so self-righteous in his plan of, "Look, I make sense. Get rid of half of the population. Save
Yep.
your Earth and the resources." Then he changes his mind once he fails because his ego gets attacked.
Yep, and he wants to make it
decides,
personal.
I'm going to eliminate.
I
and
can't-
I will be
He
your
said
God.
at first it
how
wasn't personal,
genius is
right?
that?
Like
Right.
he's talking about it's
Right.
How genius is that? I thought y'all motherfuckers were gonna be grateful that
Right.
I gave you more
Right.
resources
Holy
and got rid of
crap.
half the
Right.
population, and y'all remembered that I fucked up.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna
I'ma
shred
give
this
y'all
universe,
people
and I'm
that
just gonna
don't know
start it
shit.
over.
But okay.
I'm telling
I'm
you,
gonna get y'all people that don't know. That's how I'm
telling
gonna do it.
What
Y'all
the
want to talk?
fuck?
Okay, I got you. I got you.
And then he said it was never personal before, but you know what? Since you
Now it
motherfuckers
is.
wanna
That
cry,
was
you
I got
guys wanna get on
goosebumps
me,
right there.
I'm gonna enjoy getting rid of your puny little planet. Like, Thanos is a bad motherfucker.
How he goes back on what was his last words in 2018? when
My
he was
daughter,
beheaded.
I knew you were, and then
And like he
was
has
talking
this
to Nebula.
redemption thing, and you think, oh my God, he actually loved
Word.
Nebula,
Yeah.
right?
Word.
But then look at him back in 2014.
Yeah.
That was a nice thing he said to her. Like, it was
No,
weird.
it wasn't.
It
It
was
was,
kinda-
condescending.
it was
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But
Manipulative,
I didn't
She
even
said
expect.
she wasn't a liar.
She was
He said, I
feeling
know
it, like-
I didn't expect him to even say that. To be like, you know
I
what?
think-
treated
I
you
was.
wrong. treated
I
you
was
wrong.
Oh, right
expecting
before
I
you
treated
it.
you
chopped his
wrong.
head off?
I tore every limb from your body and gave you robot parts.
Yep.
Like,
So I asked on the Party Nerds, I said, do you think he wanted to live? Do you think that he was gonna try to live,
Mhm.
and
Hell
we
yeah.
were kind of in the same mindset, and I did agree with them at that point. They said no. I think he was accepting that he was gonna die.
I don't
And
think so.
It did seem like that, but when you think about how Thanos then.
He was expecting Nebula to jump in front for him.
Yeah, how he was manipulative later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're thinking, oh, that fucker wanted to live. He thought he was going to manipulate himself out of
Yeah.
that situation.
Yeah, he thought
Yeah.
Nebula would jump in front and stop it.
He's a master manipulator.
Yeah,
That's how he got his forces, and that's how he was able to take over.
So from Infinity War, where we kind of had this funny division of people that are like, I'm kind of Team Thanos.
Yeah.
Once you really think about Endgame, you're sitting there thinking, oh, he's, he doesn't actually make a lot of sense.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. He's just a bloody tyrant.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
and
can't.
I'm glad that it came full circle like that because
Yeah.
Infinity
Me
War
too.
had us like, yo, he's a genius
Yep.
and everything. And then when it came down to it, when he realized, yo, they're not feeling what I'm doing. I gave you half resources. I
That's
gave
how
half
you
the
knew.
ability.
That's where the
This is what you
villain
do.
came
Now
out.
I'm gonna shred y'all all apart. And
Because
so he ended up being evil, and that's what.
Yeah.
And he was a true villain.
Which
Can
was
I interject?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if he would have managed to snap that second snap?
It came close.
It came so
close.
Well, then it
Thank
was-
you, Captain.
well,
Thank you,
then it
Captain
would just-
Marvel, for saving the day
Well, then it
because
would've just
he
gone
almost
black,
snapped
right?
that thing off.
It would have just gone black, and then it would be like The Sopranos, and we'd be like, what?
Facts.
Oh
Yeah.
my
That was
god.
good. Yep.
Yes.
They could have done that.
Yes.
Can you imagine if that's like an alternate ending?
Oh my
Stop.
god, that'd
Stop.
be epic.
Stop. I'm still not even over
That'd be
Sopranos. Like, this is
epic.
too much
Yeah.
for me right now.
But that's as I was going to say, that's almost another storyline
Yeah.
loop where they wrap it up. Where they wrap it up because in what was it? Was it Civil War where the Avengers are questioning their morality and what?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes,
And
it was Civil War.
We think
Or was
we're-
it Winter Soldier?
No, it
Civil War,
was
sorry, Civil War.
Yeah.
Civil War, sorry.
Definitely.
because they're fighting
Winter Soldier wasn't
within
there,
themselves. They're saying we think we're doing the right thing, but what if what we think is the right thing is not the right thing, right?
Right.
Yep.
So
Right.
there's that
That's right, when
ethical,
they were all
moral,
fighting. Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
I love
then,
Civil War.
Then at the end of Endgame, if you ever question yourselves, Avengers, know now that your instinct to fight for the good and for the world is a good instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was.
Can
dope,
we
man.
can we finish this and talk about how excited we are about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with
Oh
Thor?
yeah.
I think.
And
With
Disney
Thor.
Plus.
I
And
must
Disney
say,
Plus.
I hope I get a Yondu. Like,
He's come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I see a Yondu.
You got
Yeah.
you got the Yondu look.
Yeah, I went with the Yondu.
What's weird?
Yondu
I
look.
don't think is Thor in any of the comments of the Guardians. I know Captain America
He
was.
did join.
and
He
Iron
did.
Man.
He did join the
Did
Guardians
he?
at one point.
In
yeah.
one point in
He
the
did,
comics,
he
because
did,
I
he
have
did.
not read
Comics.
that, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
This
Well,
movie
and
was. This
called
movie was very comic book
Asgardians.
accurate.
As Guardians,
Guardians
yeah,
of the
but-
Galaxy.
As Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's a real. That's like a real
Yeah,
title.
that was a real thing.
That's a real title.
I
Guardians of
haven't.
the
I'm
Galaxy.
excited.
So we're gonna get
You know,
that.
it's funny when he
I'm-
got on the ship, he actually called them that.
Yeah,
and
the
then Quill
Asgard-
I
started
love
to
it.
them.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
But Thor is there for a reason.
Oh yeah.
Adam Warlock is coming in. Adam
Adam
Warlock
Warlock
is
is
They've
powerful
been
than a
teasing this
motherfucker.
forever.
Yeah.
Are they really
Yeah.
gonna do
No,
it?
they're
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
do it.
they
He's in
have
that
to.
cocoon because
He's in
Alicia's
the
like,
cocoon.
no, she doesn't like the
Yeah,
Guardians.
they
They're
said
gonna
that,
be
but
mad
Because
that
Rocket stole that
spawned
battery,
their
and she was like,
resources.
"Fuck them! I don't like them. I just made a perfect being," and now they got Thor.
But
Like,
I
they're
mean,
gonna be mad
there
because of
are
their
there
resources.
are loose threads like that where like Howard the Duck was supposed to have more of.
Oh
a,
yeah.
Oh my
Motherfucker was
god.
at the battle.
He was on the battle. He definitely was.
Did you see him? Did you see him?
He
Yeah,
definitely
behind
was.
Wasp.
I've seen it. I've seen this movie
I
about
ha- I-
7 times
Oh
already.
yeah, so have I.
He's in the
He-
battle.
I can't.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He
so
comes
we
out.
get all that.
He
We get
comes
all
out.
that.
You know, but I did not see the collector.
Yeah, well,
I wonder,
you're not
I
gonna.
wonder. I know,
We're gonna
but
see
I
the collector. I
wonder.
feel like we're gonna see the because we didn't see him die on
I
screen.
like
We
the
didn't see him
collector.
die.
So we're gonna see the
is
collector. We're gonna see his
okay?
brother, the Grandmaster. We're gonna see them link up because
I
you
hope
gotta
so.
have Benicio del Toro and you
I
gotta
hope so,
have
man.
Jeff Goldblum. Like you gotta have them
I
because they're
hope so,
beautiful
man.
on screen.
So
They
listen,
were exactly.
And
incredible
Yes.
freaking movie.
Yes.
I don't know what else to say. Like honestly,
Yeah.
this
well,
is
we're
too
gonna be
much.
seeing more via Disney Plus. With
Yeah.
Yeah,
Falcon,
yeah.
Disney Plus coming
Falcon
November.
America and
Falcon
Falcon
America.
America.
and the Winter White Wolf.
Yes,
Falcon America and the Winter White Wolf.
Yep. And
Honestly.
a Widow movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a
Scarlet.
Loki is getting
Vision.
Loki.
Scarlet
We don't
Vision.
have that
Scarlet
much
Vision.
time left, so
Scarlet
let's.
And
Yes.
Loki is gonna get his own
Yep.
storyline.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I
Stay
want
tuned.
to applaud, number one, you guys for joining the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We were missing James and AJ, but I think you guys filled in quite well.
Absolutely.
We're
And,
coming for you, James and AJ.
Facts. So I want to thank you guys for coming on the show
Thank you, Haas.
and having this
Cheers.
real dope, real
Cheers.
conversation with about Endgame.
Yeah.
And,
Agents of Nerdz.
real quick before we leave,
Agents
just
of Nerdz.
once again let everybody
Yep.
know where we can find
I'm
you
Nikki
guys.
G. Nikki G Cosplay on Instagram.
I'm Babs Butcher.
Tricky the Great, you gonna see me weekly, baby. Agents of Nerdz, we getting it.
Okay, like he said, we're getting it. And and we're out, man. Party nerds go. We out, man. Peace out.
Party nerds.